Hello everyone, Tom with Capo Fetish. Let's talk about some classic lo-fi albums from over the years. Let's start off here with a classic from 1984 by the Meat Puppets, their second album, Meat Puppets 2. Fantastic indie album here, featuring 3 songs that were on Nirvana's MTV Unplugged, Lake of Fire, Oh Me, and Plateau. One of my favorite tracks on here, though, is a track called We're Here. It's the last track on side 1. There's something really cool about that and the melody. It's just a really, a varied album containing some cowpunk, some folk, all done very uniquely by the Meat Puppets. They have their own unique sound, especially in these early years. My favorite probably is the follow-up, Up on the Sun from '85, but this is a close second. Fantastic lo-fi album on SST Records from 1984, Meat Puppets 2. Here's another one from 2014, indie artist Mac DeMarco, his album Salad Days. This is a really fine album here. Got quite a bit of airplay too on indie channels and alt channels. I got to be honest with you, I don't think there's a bad track on here. He has a very unique electric guitar sound. It almost has this kind of like twang to it, but it almost sounds slightly out of tune at the same time. It's very, very unique guitar sound. He definitely has some songwriting chops. They're all over this album. Some of my favorites is Blue Boy, Let Her Go, Goodbye Weekend, Chamber of Reflection, Go Easy. But the whole album is just, it's really a good masterclass in songwriting. And this guy really, I mean, he started from the underground and now he has a substantial following. I think the last time he was here in LA, he was playing the Greek or headlining the Greek Theater. That's pretty good for an indie artist. So if you've never heard this, 2014's Salad Days by Mac DeMarco. Good stuff. How about a real mindfuck of an album from 1973, especially side 1? I'm talking about Todd Rundgren's A Wizard, A True Star. This is the follow-up to Something Anything from '72, and I'm sure it blew a lot of people's minds when it came out. It sounds nothing like that album. There are little elements you hear, but there's not a whole lot on side 1 that you would, I guess you would consider song. It's really more just like ideas just flowing out of Todd, flowing into one another. It's quite a listen, and you must hear it on headphones, side 1. It almost sounds in parts kind of like Zappa, like early Zappa. Some of his editing techniques on We're Only In It For The Money, that kind of thing. Very, very Zappa-ish, I think, side 1. Side 2 is different. It's Todd kind of going through a 23, 25-minute or so song cycle of this soulful ballads. He does this medley on side 2, which is really cool. He does Curtis Mayfield's I'm So Glad, or what is it here? It is I'm So Proud, which the Impressions did in the early 60s. Great track. He does Track of My Tears. He does La 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 Means I Love You by the Delphonics. This whole soulful medley on side 2. Really, really, really unusual album. It's one of those albums you've got to listen to quite a few times to kind of get the gist of it, but I think it's one of Todd's greatest albums. Again, it's nothing like Something Anything or Herman of Mink Hollow. It's a whole different beast. And a lot of acid intake during these recording sessions from Todd. So he was really out there, really just pushing the limits, man, of just using the studio to its fullest and just throwing out any idea that would flow through his head. So Todd's A Wizard, A True Star. Great stuff. Here's the original inner sleeve. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Todd Rundgren from '73. Here is a fantastic Bob Marley album. This was released in '71 initially under a different title, released in '73 under African Herbsman, produced by Lee Scratch Perry. A fantastic lo-fi reggae album. Now, this is before Marley was signed to Island Records, Chris Blackwell, just maybe a couple years prior. The songs are really rough sounding, but there's something really cool about these lo-fi Marley tracks. Songs that would later appear on albums in the late 70s, like there's the original version of Kaya from Kaya. There is a Put It On from Burnin'. We have Keep On Moving. Trenchtown Rock, which would be the opening track on the live album. We get an early version here. We got Small Axe. That was another one that was off the Burnin' album by the Wailers. Sun is Shining, another track off Kaya. So you get these early kind of workings of some of these tracks that would later become, you know, these well-produced tracks on later Marley albums. But just a fine listen. And there's there's a DVD on here as well. So really good stuff if you're a Marley fan. Of course, I'm a big fan of his Island. I think his Island catalog is one of the greatest, flawless catalogs of all time. But if you want to pick up some early Marley, this is really, really fine from start to finish. Bob Marley and the Wailers, African Herbsman from '73. Got to throw in some VU. White Light, White Heat. This is such a total lo-fi, you know, album with some of the most nastiest sounds up to that point in rock. I mean, just the guitar sounds are just over the top on Sister Ray, just bleeding through the stereo. All 17 minutes. I heard her call my name with some incredible feedback playing from Reed. I don't know if you've ever seen that reunion in '93 with the Velvet Underground. It's all over YouTube. I don't think they ever made it to America. They played all over Europe. And I never knew that Reed could play such ferocious lead guitar like he does on I Heard Her Call My Name, the live version of that '93 show. My favorite, though, has always been Here She Comes Now. Just amazing kind of drone-sounding song. But I think the scariest track on here, though, and I think one of the scariest VU tracks is Lady Godiva's Operation. That is just really creepy. Also The Gift, and of course White Light, White Heat. A total lo-fi classic right here by the Velvet Underground. You could even include the Nico album as well. Both lo-fi classics. White Light, White Heat from 1968 from the Velvet Underground. 1995's Either Or by Elliott Smith. What a classic this is. Just incredible songwriting on this album here. This is his last album, I think, before he got signed to a major. And I believe this is his third album. Every track on here is amazing. That first track, Speed Trials, with his voice barely audible. He's just whispering the words. Alameda, Say Yes, 2:45 a.m. is pretty intense. It's a really good track. Rose Parade, Punch and Judy, Between the Bars. There's just not a bad track on here. This is just a great mid-90s, or this came out in '97, not mid-90s, so it was late '90s. 1997 released by Elliott Smith, and never heard it. Pull it up. It's fantastic. Just very low-key singer-songwriter stuff, and a lot of like, you know, McCartney influence, but very, very dark lyrically. Elliott Smith, Either Or from 1997. Got to throw in McCartney's first. I've always loved this album. I thought it had a lot of charm. Even though, you know, there's really mainly probably about 2 or 3 cuts that are like really monumental on this album. I kind of like some of these songs like Valentine's Day and Hot as Sun, Teddy Boy. That was a leftover from even the White Album era. But I mean, honestly, maybe I'm amazed. That vocal by McCartney, that is just one of his greatest belters. The live version, even from Wings Over America, I don't think he even holds a candle to this particular version. He plays all the instruments, and let's be honest. I mean, those guitar lines are so infectious on Maybe I'm Amazed. It's so good. Such good playing there from McCartney. Mama Miss America, that would be something. To meet you in the fall and rain, Mama. Great stuff. The Lovely Linda. I mean, I wouldn't put this up there like in the Plastic Ono Band, All Things Must Pass category. I mean, those albums are epic. McCartney would write more epic stuff later, but it's a fine indie album, lo-fi album, and has a lot of charm. And I love all the pictures here taken by Linda. The inside cover. This is Paul's life in, like, you know, 70, early 70, late 69, right after the breakup of the Beatles. So we're throwing this in. This is a lo-fi classic here from McCartney from 1970. How about 2010? This has been one of my most played albums over the past 10 or so years. And it's Tame Impala's InnerSpeaker, their debut album. Now they've gone a little more techno with each album, a little more, I don't know what you say, electronic. But here it's just full-on neo-psych. Great neo-psychedelic stuff here. Kevin Parker, the lead chief guy here in Tame Impala. There's just not a bad track on this album either. It's just fantastic. Lucidity, I love that. Solitude is Bliss. Expectation, I Don't Really Mind, It Is Not Meant to Be, the first track. Just really, really kind of like putting a kind of a modern bent on Psych. There's some parts of it really kind of remind me of Cream even, kind of towards the end. There's this long track with this kind of heavy sounding distortion, kind of reminiscent of Clapton and Cream. But really, really cool. Really, really great stuff. It'd be great if you went back to more of this kind of guitar-oriented stuff. Tame Impala's InnerSpeaker from 2010, really good. And last on the list is Liz Phair's Exile and Guyville, an absolute 90s lo-fi classic, indie classic. Double album. Just, I'd say nearly perfect. Some of my favorites on here. I've always loved Explain It to Me. Such a beautiful, hypnotic, dark song. The opening track, 6-1, Help Me Mary, Dance of the Seventh Veils. Never Said was a great rocker. Back in the day, my band and I did a cover of that. Really cool. Soap Star Joe and Canary, Mesmerizing, Fucking Run, Girls, 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 Love Divorce Song. This is just a fantastic record here. So here we go. The end of the video. This is Liz Phair's Exile and Guyville from 1993. So those are about 9 lo-fi classics from over the years. If you have any more to mention, please put them in the comments section. As always, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you dig the content across the channel, press subscribe. And we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.